Hello and welcome to Lunch with Lake Ridge, where we serve bite-sized pieces of community information that you can digest at your convenience. I'm Bernie Guthrie and I'm the General Manager of Lake Ridge Parks and Recreation Association located in eastern Prince William County. I'll be your host for this segment. Today we have with us the Honorable Kenny Boddye, who is the Occoquan District Supervisor for the Prince William County Board of County Supervisors. He's here today to share some updates that a resident in Lake Ridge may find interesting. Welcome, Supervisor Boddye. Thank you so much for joining us for lunch.
Thank you so much, Bernie, for having me. Of course, I'm happy to join you here with Lake Ridge, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today. Thank you so much for having me.
And we're happy to have you as well. I was over by Potomac Mills Mall, and I noticed that the county had purchased the old Gander Mountain and Florin Decor site that's located in the mall parking lot. What is the benefit of having the mental health services housed in that area? And what's the benefit of purchasing versus leasing?
Sure. Well, that's a great question, Bernie, and very timely too, because I know the news came out about that just within the last week or so. And so what's important to remember about this facility, the Gander Mountain site, is we've been actually housed there for different uses over the past couple of years. If folks recall, back over the last 2 years or so, we're actually partnered with the Prince William Health District to use that area for a mass vaccination facility for COVID-19. So we're a little familiar with that site, and we actually were already set to lease that site for the Crisis Receiving Center for 11 years. So yeah, so ownership would protect this investment of $18 million in federal, state, and local funds that we've been using to stand up the Crisis Receiving Center anyway under this lease, but now we get to secure that for actually a long-term investment by buying the facility. And the thing is that when we talk about this, we know that long-term investments in mental health are sorely needed, especially in this part of our community. And the beauty of this site, Bernie, is it's housed in the Occoquan district, right near our local community.
Yeah, we are incredibly lucky. So can you tell me a little bit about how a CRC differs from an existing mental health service?
Sure, and that's a great question, Bernie, because although we do have existing mental health services throughout the county, most of them are not centered around having folks who are in crisis. So what usually happens is if someone is having a mental health crisis, they're either shepherded to some other part of the region or some other part of the Commonwealth of Virginia, or frankly, they're put on a wait list. And we know that folks, whether they be adults or especially our youth, they're experiencing a mental health crisis. They need help immediately. So our new CRC will be centered around a crisis now model, whether it's someone that walks into the facility or they're brought there by medical professionals or by the police department. They will be able to seek help immediately as opposed to waiting. And so why that's also so important is this CRC will not just be about mental health services. It'll be complete wraparound holistic facility where our community services department will be housed as well. So sometimes when folks come in, they have a mental health crisis, they have something going on in their lives, right? It might be stress from their family, it might be stress from work, it might be a substance abuse issue as well. There's a whole host of issues that deal with the mental health crisis. And instead of someone just coming in and only seeking mental health help, this new facility will be wrapped around and provide those services, as well as hopefully get this person back to a place where they're not only surviving, but thriving in our community as well. So it's a much bigger look at mental health and holistic health, as opposed to just being a very narrow look at mental health services.
Well, thank you for filling us in on that important and timely news. But getting back to Lake Ridge, a recent survey showed that our trails are the second most used amenity in our community. And I mean, about 77% of our respondents were keenly interested in the trails. We've been coordinating with your office and the Department of Parks and Recreation to develop the long-awaited Occoquan Greenway. Can you share what's currently happening there?
Sure, and I appreciate the question. You ask a lot of good questions, Bernie. And what I will say to that is, this Occoquan Greenway project has been a long time coming. I know a lot of folks in the Lake Ridge community and the surrounding community have been looking forward to this project for quite some time. So here are a few highlights that I'll share with you about where we are. Currently, the bridge at Hedges Run is under construction. That should be completed later this year, looking at maybe a summer or fall at the latest, but we're hoping it'll be later on in the spring at the earliest. My office has also been working with the Office of Transportation for Prince William County and the Parks Department to secure federal grant to connect the Tanyard Hill portion of the trail over at the town of Occoquan by Ellicott Street. This will provide a trail alongside but elevated from and the road to allow us to address drainage issues there as well. And also, frankly, finally give some folks in the town of Occoquan a little bit of walkway there on the outskirts of town to get from the trail into the town without having to step into traffic. The county is also, it's really important. And I know a lot of folks over there, especially that live right next to Tanyard Hill, are really looking forward to that. The county is also in discussion with Dominion about incorporating the power line easement running behind Oakwood Drive down to the reservoir, and we can use that easement to be part of the trail network as well, since it's already sort of there, and people are already used to seeing that area of Lake Ridge and the community sort of already mowed and ready to go. So I
love the interconnectivity that this will provide.
Absolutely. And while this is a massive project, much of the greenway is actually already up and ready right now. So I encourage anyone who's listening to this to explore open trail segments this spring, or even consider joining the Trails and Stream Coalition in their trail maintenance and cleanup efforts. Because, we have a really, really great dedicated folks such as Neil Nelson right there in the Lake Ridge community who have been doing this work for years. And they go out every couple of months and clean up the trail. They look at markers. Last year I actually went out with them as part of the sort of New Year's first day hike, although it was about the second or third week of the year. But we went out there. We went out to where the trail was. We saw where they had marked it. We also did some maintenance while we were out there. So it's truly a labor of love, and it reflects the work engaged community can do over the last few years.
And the benefits to our community are immeasurable. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your partnership in making that greenway a reality. Are there any other hot topics that may interest our residents?
Sure. So to go back to the Crisis Receiving Center just for a second, I know, mental health services is something that we've been looking forward to doing for a long time. So I'm proud to say that hopefully that facility will be opening in 2024. I know that's a little bit farther from now, but it's on the horizon. That light is there. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second is that we will be on the 1st, so Saturday, the 1st of April, we will be having our next Occoquan District Dumpster Day. It'll be held at Bethel United Church on Minnieville from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m., just in time for spring cleaning, right?
Yeah, great. I love it. Is there any place that our residents that you could point them to if they're looking for more information about what's going on in the county?
Sure. So our website is one of the best places you can go to. So if you go to occoquandistrict.net, we usually have quite a few things up there. And also right now we're going through the budget season for the county. This is one of my most important roles as your district supervisor, is aligning our budget to our values here as our community. And you can actually visit our website to look at the budget as well, which is www.occoq.org/FY2024 to reach the county's budget portal. And that's where you can look up everything that's going on with the budget cycle right now. And I really hope that folks can engage with the budget process, as we have about a little bit less than a month to go on the budget, but really this should be all of our budget collectively, not just ours and not just the counties.
Lake Ridge is in the middle of their budget cycle, so I understand not only the importance, but the magnitude of the work that actually goes into developing a strong budget. And, we really need to all be fiscally conscious right now.
Absolutely.
Supervisor Boddye, thank you so much for taking time to share these nuggets. We look forward to having you dish up more news really soon. Helen Keller once said, alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. So keep that in mind, Lake Ridge, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Bernie. And it's great talking to everyone here in the Lake Ridge community. It's a pleasure and an honor to serve you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.